Let today be the day you give up who you've been for who you can become. Hal Elrod. My friends, as far as being a trader, an investor, how do you do that? You commit yourself to 10 to 15 minutes each and every day to follow these charts, learn how to trade and invest. That is by doing. The same way you get to Carnegie Hall, practice. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks, gold, Bitcoin down, bonds are up. Let's talk about where we are today as we move into Friday. We're going to give you the 5-day ETF trading analysis and execution plan. Let's jump into this. By the way, Patreon members, I've got you an in-depth review of our charting cryptos and currencies. That is going to be emailed out to you and also uploaded at the Patreon page, plus our weekly vertical crossovers. Let's jump into the charts. This is where we are on the S&P. We told you that yesterday we were bearish 75% with a 78% backtest accuracy. I bet in the morning you were doubting me. But what happened in the afternoon? Things moved over, not down a great deal, 0.29%. But nonetheless going down. Where does that leave us? Well, we're bearish overall with a recent consolidation, increasing on downward volume, increasing pressure on downward volume. You can see that here where it spiked up yesterday afternoon and then started rising higher than it had been before, particularly toward the end of the day. And again, as we look at where we are on the 2-day, first day of the latest 2-day candle, it's trying to push itself, well, is pushing itself right now through the weekly down trend line. And you can see we've not hit the lows of last week yet, but we still have that downward pressure. Our prediction is continual bearish move, 70% probability for the next 5 days. Entry point is 267, exit point 567, exit point 552. I am a little bit dyslexic, so you have to forgive me if I get sometimes these numbers wrong, and I'm trying to push through this so you don't have to sit here more than 10 to 15 minutes. The expected move is a decline of about $15. Backtest accuracy is 75%. So those are pretty good. We'll continue to keep our eye on things, see if indeed the bearish mood continues with this overall consolidation and downward pressure. Now, where are we on the NASDAQ 100? It too was down a little bit more, 0.34%. Again, we can see we've not hit the lows of last week yet, almost to average volume there. You can see Doji sliding sideways on the NASDAQ 100. You can see where things popped up on Wednesday and then moving down on Thursday. Where does that lead us? Well, we've got downward but showing signs of short-term support. We have volume is bearish with increasing selling pressure. We are bearish at about a 65% probability. It was 70 yesterday, so that's weakened a little bit, but could bounce temporarily. Our entry point is about where things are now, just a little bit higher at 480. Our exit point is at 465. And again, remember, these are down moves. You can convert this over to PSQ for the NASDAQ 100. That is or if you're doing options, you can pay attention when you're hitting those numbers to then be looking at firing off your options order. And if you don't know anything about options, you want to learn how to practice trade options, hey, become a Patreon member at any of the 3 support levels at our Patreon page for Charting Wealth. And the first thing you'll get, in addition to my new book, 3-Wave Trading Advantage, you'll also get our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Now, back to the Qs. Our expected down movement is a decline, again, like the S&P, of about $15. Backtest accuracy, 72%. So again, remember, this information we're giving you is our execution plan. What we're thinking is going to occur over the next 5 days. So with stocks, that is the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, we have overall bearish, some recent consolidation, and that downward pressure. with the S&P 70% probability continued down move, 65% on the NASDAQ. Now let's move from stocks to bonds. This is 20-year U.S. government bonds, TLT. And what do we see going on with TLT? Well, yesterday we were bullish at about 80%. They were up just a wee bit, 0.07% for the day. Again, our trend is, reversing to bullish after things had been trending down for a little while and then moving back up again, over that last week where we had the most recent interim high back on the week beginning March the 3rd, then dropping over with a spinning top and now starting to move up again. Will we get to average volume this week? We may. Increasing, green candles. We can see those here on the half-day chart as things move up. Our entry point is about where we are right now for our analysis we've conducted today. Exit point $95. Expected moves about a $4 rise. Back test accuracy 78%. And again, a 75% probability of continued bullish activity over the next 5 days. Now again, and we update that probability for you each and every day. Doesn't mean you just fire off the trigger. You want to have things supporting you as you're looking to get in, like volume and like either a green candle if it's going up or a red candle if it's going down. Where are we with gold? Let's check gold out. We are in a strong uptrend, new highs forming. Bullish with increasing momentum. We're bullish at 80%. Where were we yesterday? We were at 85. So that slacked off just a little bit. Entry point is 280. We're at 280.75 right now. Exit point's about $10 higher at 290. Our back test accuracy is 82%. Our back test accuracy yesterday was 85%. So we're still doing well. We are still bullish on gold. Isn't it beautiful how gold, it meandered up starting back last July. And then, of course, as we got into November, nosing down and then just sort of kept sliding on through December and then starting at the beginning of the year up, except for 2 weeks with a sideways slide. Gold has just been a booming. It's beautiful to watch. Now, it was down a little bit for the day, but that doesn't take us off being bullish on gold. You can see where it's sort of consolidating here over the last few days, pushing up, though, a little bit higher. So we'll keep an eye on gold. Now, let's go to Bitcoin. Where are we with Bitcoin? We are still bullish with resistance at higher levels. We see, forgive me. We are bearish, absolutely bearish. We are not bullish. We are bearish with resistance at higher levels. We see a weakening attempt to recover. We can see where things have moved down, and then on the 2-day candle, as we look, we can see things bottomed with the most recent low back on the 11th of March, then up for a day and a half, then down, then up for that. But see how it's trying to get up to some higher highs. But again, that is weakening. Look at the volume down here. Look at the volume here on the 2-day. So again, not catching fire. We are currently bearish at 68% probability. Our entry point is $24, about 20 cents higher than we were. Our exit point is at $22. Now you might say, Tom, how do I go short Bitcoin? Well, just like PSQ and SH exist for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, with Bitcoin, and I've actually really traded this before, BITI. Again, you can see it's fairly liquid here, just a few cents apart between the bid and the ask, and you can ride it up when Bitcoin is going down. So there are opportunities also to do a short play on Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. An expected decline of about $2 on HODL is expected over the next 5 days. The backtest accuracy is at 70%. So again, my friends, and let me give you a couple of, just to wrap things up here, execution strategy. When you are looking at the S&P 500, look for confirmation from volume trends before entering. On the NASDAQ, enter on a small bounce before it resumes downward. On 20-year U.S. government bonds, wait for price stability before entering. On gold, enter after a slight dip for a better price. And on HODL, short when the price approaches resistance. There we are, my friends. We so appreciate you being with us. We love to hear from you. Patreon members, stand by for the beautiful things you get from us every week. They will be going out soon. Sorry I'm getting this off to you a little late, but I was doing major calculations, and it was just taking me some time to try to pull all this info together for you and make it as accurate as we can. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.